Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Dom from Lensprotogo and Lens Rentals, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I have two copies of a neat little camera from Panasonic, the BGH1. And if you can't tell already by its cubish figure, the BGH1 is pretty much designed for pure modularity. So in this week's video, I'm gonna build up the BGH1 in 3 totally different setups so we can see just how versatile this box camera from Panasonic can really be. But before we dive into those 3 builds using the BGH1, I wanna do a quick overview of this camera. So let's check this thing out. So if you just take a look at the BGH1 on sort of like a whole scale, you'll notice pretty quickly that there's absolutely no screen or way to monitor your image on this thing. Who needs it, right? No, but seriously, the BGH1 is meant to be like the nucleus of your camera rig with absolutely everything built off around it. So let's chat about the build. It's 3.7 inches tall, 3.7 inches wide, just over 3 inches long, and weighs 1.2 pounds. On the top of the camera, we have a selection wheel for the menu, a record button, a back button here, a little network indicator light, a hot shoe that is compatible with the DMW XLR adapter if you use that on the GH4 or GH5. There are 2 tiny internal mics above that. On the side bevel here is a function button, your Q menu, and a media button. And finally, along the lens side, we have 3/4 20 threads. All right, let's move on to the back and check out the inputs and outputs. Behind door number 1, we get a mic, headphone, and Ethernet jack. Under that is like a securing slot, I'm pretty sure, maybe for an accessory out there. And on the right side, behind door number 2, are all of your BNC connections, including SDI out, timecode, and Genlock. And underneath that is a USB-C and full-sized HDMI. And you'll notice these are a bit more recessed in there, which I think is really well thought out. Last thing on the back of the camera, we have a slot for the VBR series batteries, which are the batteries found from the EVA1. Moving along to the left side of the camera, we have a long media gate for 2 SD cards stacked vertically, and alongside this is a large air intake. And alongside that are 3 more 1/4 20 threads. At the top you get remote shutter control, and down here in the corner is your DC power. Not too much going on the right side, just a big make and model logo, another large fan, and 3 more threads. Lastly, on the front of this camera, around the lens mount, we have 3 more custom function buttons and a power button up here. There's a status light right next to that and a tally light over here on the corner. Finally, here's that micro 4/3 lens mount, which sits in front of a 10.28 megapixel sensor, which is essentially the same sensor from the GH5S. So yes, the sensor found in the BGH1 is basically the exact same as what's found in the Panasonic GH5S. But it's noteworthy that just because 2 sensors are the same on paper doesn't mean that the folks at Panasonic didn't make subtle changes to the sensor to make it better since the GH5S came out. Having said that though, you truly don't get a lot more from the BGH1 than you would on a GH5S internally speaking. Your 4K DCI recording modes are a little bit more extensive in the BGH1, and the vlog profile in the BGH1 seems to have been a bit more reworked since the GH5 and GH5S too. But that's pretty much it. Given everything we've talked about the Panasonic BGH1, it's becoming more and more obvious that they designed this with really one thing in mind: networking. And so by that, I mean using this camera in a studio as like a sort of fixed webcam, maybe in a top-down setup for a flat lay. Maybe you could use it in like a music venue and stick it right up in the ceiling. Or really just any time that you want to be able to stick a camera in a small place and be able to control basically everything that it does remotely. This gets pretty obvious when you start to consider all the hardware they put on the BGH1 to make all those things I just mentioned possible. Like this remote shutter input right here, the Ethernet connection, the timecode and Genlock out, this little network indicator, this USB-C right here. So yeah, this thing was made to be remote controlled. Or at the very least, you could take advantage of its size and modularity and make a very small and neat gimbal rig. So that's gonna bring me to the tail end of this video, where I'm gonna build up 3 different setups using the Panasonic BGH1. So we can test out some of the advantages of this little box camera. Okay, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video, overviewing the BGH1 box camera from Panasonic. So if you have any questions or insights about this camera, drop a comment in the comment section below and we'll start a discussion. Also, if you happen to like this video, hit it with the thumbs up button down below to let me know you liked it. Also, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. And if you are subscribed, you can hit that little bell button down there too to be notified whenever we post new content, which is every week. So take care, and we'll see you in the next one.